This second informational video also provides some background on the shared learning outcomes and the essential learning outcomes. If we have any hope of including health and wellness requirements into the associate's degree, we must justify how it fits into these learning outcomes. This short video will familiarize us with these learning outcomes. In the Part 1 informational video, we mentioned the shift in thinking from simply completing courses to demonstrating competence in the UW system shared learning goals and the essential learning outcomes to fulfill the associate's degree requirements. The shared learning goals and essential learning outcomes are basically the desired skills that top employers want in new employees entering the workforce. The Association for American Colleges and Universities, or the AAC&U, survey and research what skills employers want from college graduates and how colleges and universities can best prepare students for success in the real world. We know that employers don't necessarily want graduates in a certain major or GPA. Employers want a good employee that can communicate well, think creatively, and solve problems, and work well in diverse groups. All the UW systems institutions are members of the AAC&U, and Wisconsin has led much of the research in identifying the needs of the workforce and the role of higher education has in meeting those needs. The essential learning outcomes are the ultimate goal of what every college-educated student entering the workforce should have demonstrated competency in while in school, and they should be ready and able to apply in the workforce. These essential learning outcomes identified by the AAC&U are dubbed LEAP, Liberal Education, America's Promise. These LEAP outcomes transcend any single discipline. These outcomes are to be infused throughout the undergraduate education. It is important to note that we, as instructors in the HES department, are currently role modeling and expecting these essential learning outcomes from our HES students. We now must convince the Associate's Degree Review Committee that HES 206 should be a required course in the associate's degree within the UW colleges and beyond. When compared side to side, we see how similar the AAC&U LEAP essential learning outcomes are with the UW system shared learning goals. Note the shared titles. Here we see knowledge of human cultures in the physical world in the LEAP initiative and knowledge of human cultures in the natural world for the UW system shared learning goals. Here in the LEAP, we see the intellectual practical skills, including inquiry and analysis, critical and creative thinking, written and oral communication, quantitative literacy, information literacy, teamwork and problem solving. And we see those listed here in the UW system shared learning goals. And we see personal and social responsibility over here as well. So we find ourselves on the cusp of the UW colleges undertaking a revision of the Associates of Arts degree to better align ourselves with the goals and research done by the AAC&U. Just reading this abstract from an AAC&U document, General Education Transformed, How We Can and Why We Must, you can grasp why we're having this discussion. What role will our department have in the new associate's degree? Will we be just an elective that a few students will take, or will it be a required course because we can demonstrate how we play a role in students developing the essential learning outcomes and how healthy citizens are more productive citizens? Keep in mind that these essential learning outcomes are to be acquired over the 2 to 4 years a student pursues a degree. These essential learning outcomes are to be infused throughout all the gen eds, and students should have multiple exposures to each essential learning outcome. Not that every course they take focuses on each essential learning outcome. And within HES, we emphasize many of these essential learning outcomes already. Which essential learning outcomes do you emphasize in your classes? How about in HES 206 in particular? What kind of learning activities have you developed that target the essential learning outcomes? How do we know that the students have met these essential learning outcomes? What role will HES 206 have in the associate's degree?